The biggest factor when I talk to companies is don't look at it as if you build it, they will come. Really invest, take the time, effort, and energy to establish yourself and lay your brand foundation, because that's going to set you up for the future, not for the next 6 months.
Welcome to the KayaCast, the podcast for cannabis businesses looking to launch, grow, and scale their operations. Each week, we bring you interviews with industry experts and successful retailers, plus practical tips and strategies to help you succeed in the fast-growing cannabis industry.
Welcome back to the KayaCast podcast. I'm your host, Tom Mulhern, and today on the show, I have a conversation from my time here at MJ Unpacked in New York City, heart of Manhattan. And today I'm talking to Dan Serard, who's the head of partnerships and business development at the Cannabis Creative Group. As a marketing person myself, I was so thrilled to talk with a fellow marketing geek about website SEO, strategies for, social media, all of this stuff that cannabis businesses need to be doing. It was really great to talk to Dan, to hear his insights from working with over 300 brands in the cannabis industry and some of the biggest brands that are out there, and the ways that they have helped them stand out in the market, and really ways that they've worked to make their clients better and more profitable. So I hope you enjoy this conversation with Dan from the Cannabis Creative Group. Dan Serard heads business development and strategic partnerships for Cannabis Creative Group. He's been working in the cannabis industry for over 4 years and has been a part of marketing over 200 plus brands. He's a member of many cannabis associations and holds the co-chair of education and content for the National Cannabis Industry Association's Marketing and Advertising Committee. So Dan, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Tom. Excited to be on.
What really makes what you guys are doing unique, because there are so many different creative agencies, just like there's so many ancillary software technology solutions. So what makes what you guys are doing stand out?
What makes us unique is, a couple things. One, first and foremost, we have a very large team. So, 50 plus individuals. We are all in-house. So we don't outsource things, build websites overseas. You are working with the team, boots on the ground. So we're one of the larger agencies. We've been at it since 2017. So now that's 6-7 years of experience. And really, what I think is our unique proposition is our team really knows the cannabis industry, right? So when we work with a company, we've worked with 300 businesses, so we know the do's and don'ts, what you can do, how to work around it, how to best position your brand messaging. A lot of the stuff that we do is custom, but when we say custom, it opens the door for so many ideas. So if we can guide a brand in a creative direction where we know we've seen success before and spin off that brand on their unique value position, we have a competitive advantage to say, we know what works, we can help you.
What are some of the services that you provide for cannabis brands? Like you said, you've worked with over 300 brands across the world. So what are some of those services you provide?
How I like to kind of split up our services is laying the foundation, right? So that's branding, brand messaging, packaging design, graphic design, and then website design and development. So that's really helping start brands. And then lead generation and customer retention. So what that means is we work on Google paid search, SEO, social media, email marketing, photography and videography, and then SMS messaging.
What are some of the specific challenges for cannabis businesses when it comes to digital marketing? And we're definitely going to dial into some of those aspects that you talked about, but from a high level, what are the challenges that we're facing?
There's so many restrictions in terms of what you can and can't say. So social media is key, right? There are so many businesses, and Instagram is a great platform, Twitter is a great platform, LinkedIn's a great platform. But what you can say and can't say will have an immense impact on your cannabis business. So looking at Instagram specifically, there's hashtags you can't use that'll get you shadow banned or flagged. There's types of content posts that you can and can't do. So product promotions and really selling language is the key point here that you need to avoid. And really, instead of saying, tell us all about your products and the brands that you carry, tell us about your business, what you do from a philanthropic standpoint, tell us about your founders, tell us what you're doing in the community. That's the type of content that you want to focus on because it helps buyers understand who you are and it won't get you flagged and shut down.
What are some innovative marketing strategies that you've seen really work?
One of the main things here for dispensaries is customer acquisition. You need to own the radius around you when someone types in cannabis near me or dispensary near me. For the cannabis customer, there's not a lot of loyalty right now in terms of brands or dispensaries. It's convenient. So if you're sending one message and that's kind of it, you're losing so much opportunity. A lot of people don't convert on one email or one SMS. Defining, those segmented audiences, what they're interested in, and creating, drip campaigns, nurture campaigns, that's a core pillar of success for dispensaries. If you're talking about, here's what we're doing with the community, here's an event that we're going to, here's a bio on one of our bud tenders, like that's the content that really captures people and people want to read with strong calls to action, right? Everything has to lead back. You are a retailer, you're selling products. So figuring out that message and that blend of how you can incorporate sales and education is really key.
What do cannabis businesses need to know about their website, specifically around like performance and optimization? And then we can talk about SEO as well.
When you build a website, you want to make sure that you're in a platform that's scalable. So looking at, specifically for the cannabis industry, WordPress or Webflow are great options. If you're building a website and you're like, I want this crazy video and a carousel and all this stuff on your website, that's going to negatively impact your performance. So how can we make that video a good static image, or, remove that carousel to show your 3 products on the home screen? So setting up your website for performance with the design aspect in mind is going to be key.
Now, looking at SEO, how important is creating quality content that can really boost your SEO?
For any cannabis business, that's the number one investment, I would say, for digital marketing. You need to be found in the search engines. You have one opportunity to make a lasting impression on that person. So if you think about your website as your digital storefront, right? Are you going to pay, $5,000 or $2,000 for your retail storefront? I mean, it's not going to look great. You're not going to retain clients. So that investment into your website and SEO to make sure that your website looks great, it captures that person in under 3 seconds, and then you are being found in the search engine is the number one digital marketing campaign I would recommend. And then the biggest piece is content writing. So it's long form pieces of content that are not written by AI. You can use ChatGPT, and I think it's a great starting platform. So you can use the prompts to start your blog or create content ideas. So one of the things that we use ChatGPT for is to create content topics, right? So you're looking at, I am a dispensary in New York City. What is the most searched term around dispensaries and cannabis near me? You can create a list of 10 or 20 content topics and then start writing on that. My prediction is that Google, especially with them launching their new API, is going to ding people for if they're just copy and paste. First of all, it's plagiarism. Second of all, they will have an impact on your website. So although it's a good shortcut, make sure to use it as a starting tool and then have content writers build that. The other thing about, content that works is you have to have a unique voice of your brand. ChatGPT, they're getting there, but it's not there. So you need to have, your content writer really know your brand, capitalize on your messaging, know what your content pillars are, know how you're promoting yourself to your customers, and then write blogs around that. Dispensaries need to look at their audience and write content specific to their audience.
What about for smaller brands or even some of the social equity applicants here in New York and other places? If you don't have a huge marketing budget, what's your advice for them?
We actually created it's called a dispensary launch package, where we're looking at the lowest cost with the highest impact. And what that consists of is 3 core elements. It's branding, so your visual identity, it's your website, and it doesn't have to be a crazy website. It's essentially, you need 5 pages for a dispensary, right? You need your homepage, about us, your menu, blog, contact page. So it's not out of this world, it's not crazy. Keep that base foundation, and then you can scale it from there. One of the, I would say, budget-friendly items to do is always optimize your Google My Business. Establish that, take the time to fill it out fully, make sure your hours are up to date, make sure you're going and you're looking for review captures. Figure out how you can get as many Google reviews as possible. That's just your bud tenders asking for reviews, that's client testimonials. There's no cost to that, right? It's, hey, I'd love a review if you had a good experience. Those reviews are so crucial in terms of SEO and how Google sees your business as a leader. And the other thing to add to that is don't just leave the reviews, respond to them. So if you're responding to them, Google sees you as an interactive business, you're talking and engaging with your customers, and that's going to help you tremendously.
You mentioned you were in the health and wellness industry. So how has that kind of impacted what you're doing? And how do you see health and wellness fitting in with cannabis?
Just like cannabis businesses, you need to define your buyer persona and figure out who you want to be, right, based on who is purchasing your products or who you want to purchase your products. So nootropics are everywhere, daily multivitamins are everywhere. Packaging design was key when we were working on this project. What stood off the shelf? Now, even more in the cannabis industry, it needs to be what pops off the shelf. So engaging packaging design, nice colors, establishing your brand. You know, if I'm going into a dispensary and you can't touch, feel, look at the products, but you can see the packaging. So I think that packaging design is key to really get buyer to purchase your product. You know, when we look at brand messaging and design, if you're appealing to them and they're turning away, you're probably not doing it right. So we always talk about when looking at your business and starting, pick a demographic that you really care about, that you can write messaging for, that you really have a background in, and cannabis for everyone is just not gonna win. It doesn't allow you to narrow in that audience and define your messaging where you'll just get lost in the clutter. So a lot of the time, you know, if you're not turning away certain buyer personas, like, you're probably not doing it right.
I mean, we could just sit here and talk about marketing and all this all day, but I want to ask one more question. And what is one tip that you would have for a dispensary owner to help them grow their business?
The biggest factor when I talk to companies is don't look at it as if you build it, they will come. Really invest, take the time, effort, and energy to establish yourself and lay your brand foundation, because that's going to set you up for the future, not for the next 6 months.
So Dan, how can people connect with you and what you're doing and bring you guys on if they need some help with marketing or their website or whatever? What's the best way to kind of connect with what you guys are doing?
Definitely visit our website, cannabiscreativegroup.com. We have so much educational content there, just free, right? So we write so many blogs, we talk about so many different things. We want to give as much advice to people as possible. So definitely visit our website, cannabiscreativegroup.com. Reach out to me, Dan at cannabiscreativegroup.com, or on LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn.
Dan, this has been so good, and I really appreciate you taking this time.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. I appreciate it.
I want to thank Dan for giving us a masterclass in cannabis marketing. You know, I think one of the biggest things for me was his tip about really having that long form content that your clients can engage with, learn, and that's what's going to make you stand out. They have a great blog section on their website with great resources. So make sure you go check out Cannabis Creative Group. Will have all of the links in the bio. As well, check out the KayaCast.fm website, where you can find past episodes of our show, including conversations with other marketing professionals that are working to help cannabis operators be more efficient, be better at doing what they love, rather than having to focus on the marketing and figuring out how to do TikTok. How do we do this? There are people out there that are there to help. So check out the website, check out the past episodes. Make sure that you subscribe to the podcast, because, you know, we're working hard to provide great content for you to help you launch, scale, and grow your business. So thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to the KayaCast podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast in your favorite podcast app, or visit our website to learn more about our guests and to access the full archive of episodes from the show. Join us next time as we continue to explore the world of cannabis and help you grow, launch, and scale your business.